What's up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on Dressed to Kill, we're gonna have a nice casual kitty dressing session. I know that sounds really strange, but this is definitely something that people have been asking for a while, and I really have just been too lazy to get to, so I figured I would go ahead and kind of just jump into it tonight, especially because we've just had the new Prime skin that came out for it, so I'm like, why not go ahead and explore a couple different looks with some of the skins that are currently out there. The one thing that I do kind of want to caution you guys about, if you haven't been collecting all of the palettes from the, I guess you would say, from the sets of things that have come out, because, you know, there are gene masking kits that come. Barrow sometimes brings some. I know that there are some available only through Primed Access, so you might be missing a couple things here and there. If you guys are curious about any specific colors, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer exactly where they come from, and I hope I don't have to deliver too much bad news. Now, I wanted to go ahead and just jump right on in with the Tiber Prime fur pattern, Tiber. So this is currently the look that I've got going on, and one of the things that I definitely need to know when it comes to your Kavats fashion frame, it's really gonna depend on the energy color. So I can't really give you guys a look that's gonna work for every single one out there, because of the fact that sometimes you're just gonna have colors that clash. Like if this happens with some sort of crazy green or crazy purple, that might not necessarily be the way to go, but I did want to go ahead and show you a couple different combinations so you can work with it. Now, this one is really cool, mainly because of the fact that it just feels like there's some metallicness to it. So the base, which is the secondary color, is nice. It's got some good shading to it, but really where it kind of shines is the accent. The accent almost seems like it's metallic and kind of like carries through that primed feel to it. And of course, this comes with the latest Primed Access, so this is exactly what we're looking at. The one thing that I do want to point out too that I love, it's a small detail, and I know you guys are going to be like, Rob, you're crazy. Number one, metallic feet. And it's got these little kind of like lines that come along there, so it's almost like it's got little boots. Anyway, I'm crazy. So let me go ahead and show you. This is my coloration, and usually I toss on the armor on top of it. But one of my favorite colors for pretty much Kavats, Kubros, everything is this flesh brown. So the first color is definitely the flesh brown. The second color, and I can't do any of these cool like super like fashiony shots for you, mainly because of the fact that like the setup that I currently have for it isn't really gonna work. I can't do like coding for like C3R3. It's gonna say like sludge brown, which is the next color, and it's really weird because you see sludge brown and you're like, that is this gorgeous like deep dark red. Yes, it actually is this gorgeous deep dark red. Like, look at that. I'm like, how does that translate? Like, DE, get your colors together. The next is another one that I use a lot, which is Manic Black. So the Manic Black isn't actually the deepest, darkest black that's out there. If you guys want to check it out, you can go for Singularity Black. But as you can see, like, it's almost too stark. Now, if you want stark, you can go for, you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. But I like the Manic Black because it's just dark enough, but it's not necessarily insanely, like, I almost call it like comic booky dark. Now, this is another tone that I absolutely love, which is Atlas Red. Again, you see this like orangey color right there? Why is it this dookie brown, right? I mean, if you look at it real quick, it's like this gorgeous like burnt orangey color, but here it's just like garbage, right? You wouldn't know it if you saw it. Now, the trick for the Tiber Prime skin that I'm kind of like running around with is that you really want to blend the colors. So you want to blend the secondary and the accent, and then for the base color, you want something that kind of matches that tonality. So another look that I was actually playing around with, and this one is still using a lot of the same colors, but we're gonna mix it up with some Mirage Purple. And then for the accent, we're going with a Katir Gray. Where are you? I know I could just plug it in and just like look for it. Again, Katir Gray, it looks super dark, but as you can see on that metallic, it like pops very prettily. Now, of course, this purple goes really, really well with my Kavats energy color, which is that soft blue. Might not go well with you. However, if you use a setup, so again, flesh brown, manic black, and Katir gray, you can actually go ahead and change it up a little bit. So if you want something a little bit more earthy, you can go with Mutilus brown. So maybe you've got some like pretty reds or some pretty pinks, something nice and warm to go along with it. And maybe the gray is a little too cool for you. You can actually pick up like an Eris black, and as you can see, Eris black, not so black. It's actually this like creamy, this really, really soft creamy brown color. So you can go ahead and do that. So again, this one is Mutilus brown, and it's got the accent of Eris black on it. So you could go ahead and kind of mix that up and use that as a different tonality for you. Again, go with what goes with your energy color. So let's go ahead and abandon you real quick, and then let's go ahead and move to the next one, which is something from what is his name? Barakatir. This is easily one of my freaking favorites. The Nexus Kavat fur pattern is just absolutely gorgeous. You can pick it up from Barrow. And actually, this is not the usual look that I run with. This is actually, because I like to have like one Kavat. So Aspen is like usually my red Kavat, and then Rowan is usually my blue Kavat, because it just makes sense to me in my head. But as you can see with this look, I'm actually rocking the blue variation, and the blue variation has flesh brown, as always, which is kind of like my favorite. And I think the reason that I like flesh brown so much is mainly because of the fact that it's kind of a soft pink. And it kind of goes with the ears. Of course, if you want to change that up a bit and want it to be a little bit cooler, you can actually go into something like Nova Gray. So as you can see, that's got a little bit more of a blue base. Nidus White actually is slightly purple. Slightly purple. So if you guys are looking for something to go with your purple colorations, you can go with that. Spectre White is really, really light, but it's a soft blue. Okay, it's not as light as I thought it was. Okay, I lied. Not as light as I thought it was. But as you can see, that one's got a little bit of a soft blue to it and actually matches. But the only thing is, I kind of get like weary of getting too close to the energy color, because you know when they're just slightly off, it like just triggers my OCD. So we've got Hexxus Black. So we've got the base color, then that one's Manic Black. The next one, of course, is Hexxus Black. Now, Hexxus Black is one of my favorite go-to colors when it comes to, like, just Kavat colors in general, because I think it's this really, really deep, rich blue. It's a really pretty navy. And then the last is the Katir Gray, which I think is going on to be one of my constant favorites that you'll see here. But we're actually going to go ahead and change that up into a look that is more Aspen-y, because Aspen, for some reason, is my red Kavat. You know how it is, you just get like these odd attachments to it, but as you can see right here, we're going to go ahead and swap into Atlas Red. You're going to see some familiar colors, Atlas Red, and, ooh, I've got this as Atlas Red, Manic Black. Ooh, we're switching things up here real quick. And then the secondary color should be my, is it Sludge Brown? It is Sludge Brown. Sludge Brown. Where are you, Sludge Brown? And I really, really like the deep dark colors for these ones, but as you can see right here, I kind of love it, because it almost like blends in to the red, and I really like using tones that kind of merge well with themselves. I don't know, that's just always kind of been the feel that I've gone with, is more of a blend, because of the fact that these are fur patterns, and fur kind of just like softly goes in. I'll be honest with you, I almost feel like I've got these mixed up. Like, let's try this real quick. Let's make this the Manic Black, and let's do this one as the... because sometimes Rob writes things wrong. Oh, there you go. That's what we're trying to go for. So, again, we go for the Flesh Brown, then we go into the Manic Black, and then we go into Sludge Brown and Atlas Red, and that's where we get that blend. That's what I was trying to go for right there, is a nice little blend between the two. And that's kind of what I like to go for when it comes to these Kavats colors, to make them really, really cool. And I always, when I saw this one, I was like, this is my fiery Kavat. So however you decide to do it, like I was playing around with this color combination earlier, so you could do like a Rhaegor green, like let's say you want a green Kavat, and then you mix it up with Cleaver green. I think that there's another green that works really, really well too. Asteroid Gray can work in there, so let's pretend we want to do something like that. So you could do something along those lines, but really what I like for this set is definitely a little bit of a blend. You know, I think the blends are the prettiest ways to go, so it's not too crazy. I mean, this could work a little bit, but that's because the tonality is very, very similar, you know what I mean? So again, just keeping it so it's not just like stark crazy colors. I even like that because it's just like a soft gradient. I know everybody at home is like, Rob, you are so boring. You are so boring. One thing that I do want to point out here, and I'm going to use it because I think it's a gorgeous color, except for the fact that I would never use it on a Kavats, but if you're feeling daring, I fucking love that Rubido red. I don't know if I would ever wear it on a Kavats because it's just too much and it's just too blinding. But like, listen, if you're feeling daring, that's definitely a color to go for. It's very, very gorgeous. Just not necessarily in a way that I would want to wear. So after this, let's go ahead and jump into the last look for you. I might actually do one more after this. Mainly because of the fact that I want to show off a pattern that I believe you can get in the market, because I think that a lot of these you can't get in the market. But the next one, of course, is our Moonless Kavats pattern, and this one comes from the Plains of Eidolon in Cetus. So you go to Cetus and there's a seller there that kind of like rotates through different things. And as you can see, like from my other ones, they're all very, very similar. They're not, you know, too over the top. This is my over the top one. This is where I like to go a little cray cray. And I actually named this one kind of like my Galaxy Kavats. I don't really go out on a limb with too many things, but I wanted to have a little bit more fun with this because this thing just looks like a fucking savage. So the base color we are using is Hexxus Black. Then we move into Singularity Black. You can tell I just went in deep because y'all know the Singularity is intense. And the one thing that I need to point out here too, something to note, is that colors will appear lighter and darker on different parts of this. So I'm actually going to go and show you what Hexxus Black looks on top of this, because you can see Hexxus Black on the chest, right? But if you show it there, it still comes off a little bit darker. So if you want to kind of play around with things like that, then I went ahead and used Dragon Lily Pink. Now here's the thing that I want you to know, is even though this looks pink right here, really it is still the color that your energy color is. The only way that you can kind of like play around that is to really brighten up to the color where it's so bright that you can't tell what the color is underneath. But if you go any deeper, you're gonna want to use a color that works with your energy color, because as you can see here, if I use Dreg Red, you can see that the pale blue is kind of coming out there and it does not look great. So you might want to work with something like Executioner Gray or Gallium Gray, or you might want to go with Hyacinth Blue because it matches the energy color of this specific Kavats. Now, of course, if your Kavats has like orange energy color or has green energy color, work with a color that kind of like sticks out there. But as you can see, we finished this off with Mirage Purple. So again, that is Hexxus Black, Singularity Black, Dragon Lily Pink, yes, Dragon Lily Pink, and Mirage Purple. And that's how I came up with my freaking Galaxy Kavats. But I did want to go ahead and show one more color set off of this, where we use Katir Gray. And as you can see right there, that completely changes up that look. We use Singularity Black again. We changed this to Worm Blue, which is all the way down at the bottom. And then the final touch, which is something I want to share with everybody. If you have Mirage Red legit looks like blood. So if you are into like a little bit of a really savage bloody Kavats look, Mirage Red is going to be your go-to. That's where you want to work with. You want to dig in deep and you really want to show how vicious your Kavats can be. So definitely go ahead and play around with this one. This is definitely the funnest out of all of the Kavats. However, we're going to dumb it down real quick and we're going to take it to a fur pattern that is actually available for everyone. So this is something that you can just go ahead and pick up in the market, I believe. Ignore the crazy colors on this thing. And you can just pick this one up. There's a gene masking kit that comes along with it, so you'll be able to kind of start your journey. And this is the crest fur pattern. There are a couple other fur patterns that are out there that are like weird and crazy, like the Nesser I'm not really super fond of. The Solstice was cute, but I believe that was just during the holidays. And the Hyacinth, I don't listen. I like what I like, and I like the crest. Now the way that we kind of do this, again, because I'm a creature of habit, we'll go into something like flesh brown, because that's like the bottom bit. And then the next color that I would actually go to is kind of, this is gonna be the base color of your frame. So, or your frame, your Kavats. So in this case, we'll go with something like Hexxus Black. We'll go ahead and toss the tertiary color as either singularity black or manic black, as you guys know. And what this is, and I know this looks a little bit crazy now, is it's kind of like this cool like highlight pattern that kind of comes across here. So the way that I like to do it is dark, dark, and then accent color. So you can, I mean, you can play with this a bunch of different ways. If you want to make it look more natural, you can definitely do that. I actually like doing maybe a little bit of like a Draga blue. As you can see, you guys know how I like that gradation, so it's like a soft gradient. It's not anything too crazy, but you know, if you want to kind of toss a little bit of color in there, you can go ahead and do that as well. What I'm actually gonna do right about now, Funk Soul Brother, work it out now, is we'll go ahead and jump into like an Eris Black, maybe? No, where was that? Is like a Mutilus Brown, right? We have like a Mutilus Brown, and then we could hit this up with another like brown tone. Maybe not that brown tone. Maybe like a darker brown tone. maybe like a, oh god. See, all of these colors lie. All of these colors lie, you guys. So part of me is like, why are you doing this to me? So you could do something that's a little bit more natural. I'm looking for a deeper, darker brown, but I think that Mutilus Brown might actually be, maybe a Sludge Brown is like a red. But no, it's basically you're going to have a deeper, darker color, then you'll have like a little splash of color. I'm almost trying to create a little bit of a halo with it, but you know, you can't win them all. And then you hit this last little bit. Let's see, maybe we'll go back to that Atlas Red. You see how well those two colors like work together? But you know, if you want to give it a little more spice, you could hit it up with a blood red. Where's that Mirage Red that we've got going? That also like blends in as well. So you can see how you can kind of like utilize this. You just have to play around with the colors that you have and the colors that work with your Kavats. Of course, you could always just make them an all black cat and just call it a day. Boom, you're done. You don't even have to worry about your life. Like literally, you could just hit it with a little Hexxus Black. And maybe do the base as like a singularity, or no, that's a little too crazy. Let's do that, and then let's do this one as like as like singularity black, right? So everything's really dark. Where is it? Oh, actually that works. So we could do like a little derelict black, and then you could do a little bit of you could do a little derelict black, and then you could do a little bit of manic black to make this just a slight bit darker. So lots of different ways that you can play around with this one. It's a nice basic color pattern to kind of like start you out with, especially if you accidentally got a cat with maybe like, I don't know, the craziest color pattern you've ever seen in your life and you're absolutely blinding yourself. But before we go, I wanted to go ahead and give you the color codes for my armor, because I know you guys really were curious about how I do my armor color. It's not anything too crazy. I don't know why people even ask these days, because legitimately it's like, it's very similar to everything else I do. Let's do a quick review on armors, by the way. So Tibber looks fucking fantastic. It's glorious. But if you're not planning on getting the prime set, you could also get the Mirrodin. This one I think is really cool. Not necessarily with this color setup, but it's got a hood. It's got the cutest little hood ever, and it's got little like wing things. You should be able to pick this up in the market, and you can customize that really well. I don't like this Saraba because my cat has piercings, and I don't feel very comfortable with piercing my pussy. I don't want to like. I feel like it's inhumane. And then there's the Wisecar, which was like the old one from back in the days, the old witch one. I didn't really like it all that much. I feel like the Mirrodin is a much cuter choice. The Katir one is not bad. You have to get your coloring right on it or else it goes wonkadoodles. And the Kuva Kavat armor, I'm not gonna lie, I actually think it's pretty dope. So if I was gonna say go for something, I would go, if you can't get your hands on the Tibber, I'd go Mirrodin, and then I would go Kuva, and then like Katir, and then the rest of the garbage. But let me give you my Tibber Prime colors real fast. So this one is gonna be, what do you call this? 18, 17. So it's in the Grenier palette. It's C3 row 17. So column 3 row 17. This next one here is gonna be in the Gamma palette. It is C2 row 17. So it's C2 R17 in the Gamma palette. Tertiary is in the Fire palette. Wow, it's all in 17 so far. Hold on, it's 1 17. So C1 R17 in the Fire palette. And then of course we have C3 R3, which is in the Storm palette. And then for the energy color, I just try my best to match the energy color of my Kavats. So just find that. Whatever that is, but in this case it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's C1 row 5. And that about does it for this episode. I hope you guys kind of like were able to be inspired by some of the colors that we put out today, kind of like play around with your Kavat just a little bit more, because there's a lot of different things out there that you could do. I'm just a big fan of like blending, so make sure you go into the markets, see what you can pick up for credits, go and jump into Cetus and take a look at anything else that's floating around out there, because legit we're really limited to the color palettes that we have for our companions right now, and that kind of definitely sucks, but at least we're still able to make really pretty color setups like some of the ones you saw here. This is probably one of my favorites. So regardless, I hope that helped somebody out there. I know I've been asked for this for quite a while, and I'm sorry I've been ignoring you, but you know, listen, Primes came out. I had to cover them, but that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I wasn't gonna say pussy because that's inappropriate, and we're a good Christian channel here, okay? I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!